January 10th, 2002 dawned cold and clear in Georgetown, Texas. Rachel Cooke, home from college, laced up her shoes for a morning run. Rachel Cooke had returned from San Diego, eager to see her family over winter break. Rachel Cooke's father, Robert Cooke, was already at work that morning. Janet Cooke remembers hearing Rachel Cooke moving around the house before leaving. The Cooke home sat on a quiet cul-de-sac, surrounded by oak trees and friendly neighbors. Rachel Cooke's usual jogging route looped around the subdivision, a path she knew well. It was just after 9 a.m. when Rachel Cooke set out, the air brisk and still. She wore a gray running outfit, her favorite shoes, and a Texas A&M sweatshirt. Neighbors later recalled seeing Rachel Cooke jogging along Northridge Drive that morning. At 9:30 a.m., Mary Harmon noticed Rachel Cooke pass by, waving politely. It was the last confirmed sighting of Rachel Cooke on her run. Nearly an hour later, Janet Cooke grew uneasy when Rachel Cooke hadn't returned. Janet Cooke checked the time, 10:30 a.m. Rachel Cooke was rarely late. At first, Janet Cooke thought Rachel Cooke might have met a friend along her route. Minutes passed, and worry began to set in for Janet Cooke. By 11 a.m., Janet Cooke called Rachel Cooke's cell phone, but there was no answer. Janet Cooke left a message, her tone becoming more urgent. Janet Cooke checked the driveway. Rachel Cooke's car was still there. Rachel Cooke's wallet and house keys sat untouched by the front door. Janet Cooke called Robert Cooke at work, her voice tight with anxiety. Robert Cooke rushed home, hoping to find Rachel Cooke safe and sound. By noon, both parents were searching the neighborhood, calling out Rachel Cooke's name. Neighbors joined in, scanning front yards and peering into garages. The Cookes contacted the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, reporting Rachel Cooke missing. Detective David McClure was assigned to the case and arrived at the Cooke home mid-afternoon. Detective David McClure began by gathering details about Rachel Cooke's routine. He asked about Rachel Cooke's recent activities and any possible conflicts. Robert Cooke described Rachel Cooke as responsible and reliable, never one to disappear. The Cookes provided a recent photo of Rachel Cooke for investigators. Was this just a misunderstanding, or something much more serious? Deputies canvassed the neighborhood, asking residents if they had seen anything unusual. Mary Harmon repeated her memory of seeing Rachel Cooke at 9:30 a.m. Other neighbors reported nothing out of the ordinary that morning. Detective David McClure retraced Rachel Cooke's running route, searching for clues. He found no sign of Rachel Cooke. No clothing, no footprints, no personal items. Rain was forecast for later that day, raising fears that evidence might soon be lost. Detective David McClure requested a search team to comb the area before the weather changed. Volunteers gathered at the Cooke house, ready to help in any way they could. Searchers checked ditches, wooded lots, and playgrounds along Rachel Cooke's route. As the afternoon faded, there was still no trace of Rachel Cooke. Detective David McClure ordered a wider search, expanding into nearby fields and trails. A search dog unit was called in to help track Rachel Cooke's scent. But the dogs lost Rachel Cooke's scent near the intersection where she was last seen. Was it possible Rachel Cooke had willingly left the area with someone else? Robert Cooke insisted Rachel Cooke would never leave without contacting someone. Janet Cooke replayed the morning in her mind, searching for any details she might have missed. That evening, police issued a statewide BOLO alert for Rachel Cooke. The news spread quickly, and television crews arrived outside the Cooke home. Robert Cooke spoke to reporters, pleading for Rachel Cooke's safe return. Janet Cooke remained inside, comforted by Mary Harmon and friends from church. Detective David McClure worked late, reviewing Rachel Cooke's phone records for any activity. Rachel Cooke's phone had not been used since the previous evening. With night falling, the search was suspended until morning. Janet Cooke sat awake in Rachel Cooke's room, unable to rest. Robert Cooke paced the hallway, waiting for a phone call that never came. The next morning, police organized a larger search party, including mounted patrol. Detective David McClure coordinated efforts with Texas Rangers and local sheriff's deputies. Flyers with Rachel Cooke's photo were posted around Georgetown and nearby towns. Tips began to trickle in. Most led nowhere. One caller reported seeing a suspicious white Camaro in the area that morning. Deputies searched for the car, but found no matching vehicles nearby. Rachel Cooke's friends in San Diego were contacted, but none had heard from her. Detective David McClure interviewed Rachel Cooke's boyfriend Greg West by phone. Greg West was in California at the time and devastated by the news. Detective David McClure confirmed Greg West's alibi through university records. With no suspects and few leads, the investigation stalled. The Cookes held a candlelight vigil, hoping to keep Rachel Cooke's name in the public eye. Janet Cooke spoke softly, urging anyone with information to come forward. Detective David McClure continued to chase every tip, no matter how small. Weeks passed, but no new evidence or sightings emerged. Billboards along Interstate 35 displayed Rachel Cooke's photo, seeking information. Detective David McClure revisited the possibility that Rachel Cooke was abducted by a stranger. The white Camaro sighting remained a focal point for investigators, but no witnesses could provide a license plate or clear description of the driver. Was Rachel Cooke targeted, or was it a crime of opportunity? Robert Cooke spent evenings walking Rachel Cooke's jogging route, searching for overlooked clues. Janet Cooke organized support groups for families of missing persons. Detective David McClure worked with the FBI to create an age-progressed sketch of Rachel Cooke. The sketch was circulated online and in news reports, keeping the case in public view. In July 2002, 6 months after Rachel Cooke vanished, the case remained unsolved. Detective David McClure reviewed the case file, looking for missed connections. A new lead surfaced. A man named Robert Abel claimed to know what happened. Robert Abel described seeing Rachel Cooke near a white Camaro that morning. Investigators checked Robert Abel's background, but found no connection to Rachel Cooke. The tip went cold. Robert Abel was not considered a suspect. Months turned to years, and Rachel Cooke's case faded from headlines. Janet Cooke and Robert Cooke refused to give up hope. Each year, the family held a memorial walk along Rachel Cooke's jogging route. Detective David McClure reached out to cold case specialists for new ideas. Was there someone in the neighborhood who knew more than they'd said? In 2006, Detective David McClure received an anonymous letter claiming to have information. The letter mentioned a man named Michael Keith Moore, recently released from prison. Investigators learned Michael Keith Moore had lived in Georgetown at the time of Rachel Cooke's disappearance. Michael Keith Moore had a history of violent crimes, including assaults. Detective David McClure tracked down Michael Keith Moore for questioning. Michael Keith Moore denied any involvement, claiming he was out of town that day. Detective David McClure checked Michael Keith Moore's alibi, but found inconsistencies. DNA from Michael Keith Moore was compared to evidence collected at the scene, but there was no physical evidence linking Michael Keith Moore to Rachel Cooke's disappearance. The case returned to square one, frustrating both investigators and the Cooke family. Detective David McClure presented the case at national missing persons conferences, hoping for a breakthrough. Janet Cooke started an online blog, sharing Rachel Cooke's story and updates on the case. Over the years, hundreds of tips poured in from across the country. None led to Rachel Cooke, but each was followed up by Detective David McClure. Some wondered if Rachel Cooke had been taken out of state, or even out of the country. The white Camaro theory lingered. Was it a red herring or a crucial clue? In 2009, another break. A jailhouse informant claimed Michael Keith Moore confessed to Rachel Cooke's murder. Investigators pressed Michael Keith Moore again, but he denied everything. No evidence was found to support the informant's story. The Cooke family continued to advocate for Rachel Cooke, never letting her memory fade. Every birthday and holiday, Robert Cooke and Janet Cooke left a place for Rachel Cooke at the table. Detective David McClure retired in 2015, passing the case to a new generation of investigators. He kept Rachel Cooke's file on his desk until his last day on the job. In 2017, the Texas Department of Public Safety created a new age progression image of Rachel Cooke. The image was widely circulated, renewing interest in the case. Janet Cooke appeared on national news, still searching for answers. In 2021, ground-penetrating radar was used to search fields near the Cooke home. No new evidence was found, but the Cookes refused to give up. Rachel Cooke's disappearance remains an open case, one of Texas's most haunting mysteries. Was it a chance encounter on a quiet street, or something more sinister? The Cooke family still hopes for answers, and for Rachel Cooke to come home. Rachel Cooke's room remains just as she left it, a silent reminder of that winter morning. Every year, new investigators revisit the file, searching for the overlooked clue. But for now, the mystery endures, and Georgetown waits for answers.